What's up in War Eagle War Report family? It's your guy Ike Jones, and we are here with another morning drop today. Facts are not Friday, talking about the Ole Miss game coming up. Y'all know how we do right here, War Report style. Let's go ahead and drop it on them.
You are now listening to the War Report.
Morning drop. You got Ike Jones in here. Facts or nah Friday. Hopefully everybody is having a good week, a great Friday morning. Ole Miss game tomorrow. Auburn versus Ole Miss down on the plains of Jordan-Hare. If you're in here this morning with us, y'all know you need to be doing the necessary, and that is sharing the video with somebody, get some more people involved in the conversation. Hashtag get your weight up at us at the War Report, so we know you did the sharing, and we appreciate everyone who continues to do that. Let's go ahead and get these people filing in here this morning. Give us that thumbs up on the video, like the video. That helps us out a ton, and we appreciate the engagement. Go ahead and leave if you're watching this later, answer the questions in the comments how you feel, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is a conversation. We like to have the conversation with y'all. Even if we don't agree, we don't have to agree for you to comment. So, leave your dissenting opinions as well. We welcome that. And I appreciate everybody who has already joined in on the conversation. We'll be getting to your comments here in the live chat in just a bit. Supposed to be having somebody else on here with me this morning. I don't want to get started without them, but you know what I'm saying? Got to do what I got to do, because I ain't going to hold y'all just because we got some technical difficulties on our end. But we appreciate it, as always, with Facts or Nah. We started out with questions that we got from Twitter, so we are going to get into our Twitter questions first and foremost. Let's get to it, man. I don't want to hold y'all too long, man. Let's see here. Make sure I got my stuff pulled up properly over here. Boom, there it is. All right, let's get into the Twitter questions first and foremost. And we will start it off from Twitter, who is Bubba and the Old Man. Shout out to Bubba and the Old Man, another content channel out there. But Bubba and the Old Man tweets at us, tweeting at Bubba and the Old One, the number one. Facts, hashtag facts or nah. Robbie Ashford plays 30% of the snaps this Saturday. B. Will joining in on the conversation just in time to get to this first one. Okay. 30% of the snaps going to Robbie Ashford this Saturday. B. Will, how you feeling on that?
30%. What's been our average number of snaps per offense per game? I haven't looked at that stat.
Yeah. Like
I'm expecting
55, something like that. Stupid. I don't know. It's probably not a lot.
We can't stay on the field. So let's round up and say we get 60 snaps on the offensive game.
Okay.
All right. 10% is 6. So 30% will be 18 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Does Hugh Freeze want to let the season sink with the ship, with the Payton Thorne ship? That's the question. Is he determined? Is he committed to that path of action? I would say you got to play Robbie more, because he's just an advantage over. He may have been a tool set that you could use and do better on offense, but at this point, it's got to be more obvious. We got more of him last game than we got prior. He got more snaps last game than he got prior. I think he's been getting more each week. And that's not a lot more.
I don't know how much more or less. I don't have. I listen, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
I'm gonna say facts. I'm sorry. I'm having us linger. That's unintentional. I'm gonna say facts, just off the strength of how it's looked once he's gotten in there. And I do think both the public sentiment and probably also player sentiment has gone that way. I don't think people continue to play hard for a quarterback who isn't seeing them, isn't hitting them. And even though that's not how it's supposed to go in football, that's real life because they're humans. So I'm going to say facts. Robbie Ashford plays at least 30%.
Yeah, I think he gets 30% of the snaps. I'm hoping that number of snaps is closer to the, mid 60s, high 70s in this game. And he's playing closer to 40 or 50% of them. But I do think he gets at least 30%, like a third of the snaps that we get will go to Robbie this Saturday.
Yeah.
To your point, he's performed well in the opportunities that he's been given. He's been seeming to be given a few more of those. So I'm going to go with, yeah, that's going to happen. 30% at least for Robbie Ashford this Saturday. Let's go facts on that.
All right.
Next up, we have Isaac Cooper tweeting at Isaac CO59354499. Boy, you need to change your Twitter handle. What is all of that? Facts or not, fourth and Kiffin, the over under is 2.5. So we're fourth. That's not really a facts or not question.
He's a fellow better. So
yeah, but he needs to go to phrase this in a more facts or not way so we can get you a facts or a nah, be will. Lane Kiffin goes for it on fourth down over the 2.5 mark. Facts or not? That way you can't get a push. It's a 2.5. I like the fact that he put the 0.5 in there, so you have to pick the over or the under. So I'm saying Lane Kiffin goes over 2.5 fourth down attempts in this game. Facts or not, be will?
I am going to say nah. If this game is working out like we are, I don't want to see it work out, but the offense has struggled and Ole Miss is up and we're trying to catch up, then he doesn't have to gamble and go for it a bunch on fourth. He just has to score enough points, keep us at our SEC season average, which is like 15 or so, 15, 16 points, somewhere in there after the 18 points at LSU. Bam. Ole Miss's offense, I think, will probably score more than that, given that we give the ball back to them drive after drive after drive without doing much moving. And I don't think he'd be in a position where he has to keep possession or to score points. So I'm going to say under. Not over 2.5. Thinking under. So, nah.
I think you are absolutely nuts if you think Lane Kiffin is not going to go for every fourth down opportunity he gets a chance to just to try to rub it in. Yes, Lane Kiffin will go for it on fourth down at least 3 times in this game. They're going to drive the ball, and our bend but don't break defense is going to have them somewhere around the 30-yard line at 4th and 2, and he's going to go for it. And he's going to get it inside the 20 on some drive, and he's going to go for it. He's going to get it at the 40, his own 45 at some point in time, and he's going to go for it. Lane Kiffin can't help himself. He absolutely will have at least 3 fourth down attempts in this game. Yes. Yeah.
I didn't take into account the possible pity from the offseason of chirping. I'm gonna change. I want to change my answer. I want to change my answer to over because Lane is absolutely petty. He is a petty man. And he plays with his emotions as well. So yeah, I'm going over as well. I'm going over. That's a good point.
Yeah, Lane can't help himself, man. He's gonna do it. Next question here from Maine The Conquer tweeting at Maine_Aaron_Jordan, who says facts or not, Auburn scores at least 3 touchdowns on offense. He was very specific, not 3 touchdowns in the game, 3 offensive touchdowns coming for Auburn this Saturday versus Ole Miss. Be will, what say ye?
The fact that this even has to be a question is so discouraging.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We'll get 3 touchdowns on offense? Like, man.
We did we score 3 touchdowns versus LSU?
No, we did not. Wait.
No, we only had 18 points.
We couldn't have, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Worst defense in the league. We couldn't muster 3.
Now, that hurts to say, man. That hurts.
I do think there's something to the Jordan Hare magic.
Yeah, everybody. Did we? Well, Georgia's a better defense. I was going to say, did we score 3 touchdowns versus Georgia? Yeah, well, we did have 3 touchdowns versus Georgia.
Wait, did we? Did we go for 2 late or something? We only had 20 points.
Oh, we only had 20. No, never mind. We only scored 2 touchdowns in that game.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking playing at home against a worse defense
than Georgia.
And now with the time and the to get some more Robbie Ashford in there. So I'm thinking, yes, I'm going facts on this. We score at least 3 touchdowns. We are going to be in this game. I think we're going to be in this game. I'm going facts on this.
You know what? When I consider all the variables, worse defense than Georgia at home, I think it's possible that we score at least 21 in this game. I had initially, when I was doing a score prediction somewhere else, I think I said Auburn was going to score like 17 or something. Um, but yeah. Give me 3 tutties for the home squad, baby.
That's right. Hopefully it's more than that, but yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We running out of bug, man.
Shoot, yeah.
Bug levels low. Bug levels low. Come on, we gotta convince ourselves. All right, come on.
Hey, listen,
yeah, we're gonna get 3 touchdowns, of course.
Listen, at the end of the day, I can predict whatever the heck I want to. I don't have to go out there and make it happen.
Right. It's not on us.
I can predict all the bug I want to predict and come on here and be like, well, they ain't do it. It don't hurt me none. I don't have no money on it. Well, it does hurt my soul a little bit. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Just,
yeah, it does.
People can come on here and they can try to criticize my statements. You guys told me. I didn't tell you nothing but what I hoped to happen.
Yeah.
Shoot, yeah. 3 touchdowns, baby. Let's go.
That's right.
Next one here we have from Madhouse Sports Channel, who's tweeting at Madhouse SC, who says Facts or Not, Auburn has 2 backs rush for over 100 yards each this weekend. We've had a couple of people who had very similar tweets. There was somebody else who asked, would we have 2 running backs with at least 100? And I just picked one of them and used it, but yeah.
So I'm going to say nah. I don't expect we spread it around too much. We really split up carries too much. That's really the thing. And I don't think we're going to get now, unless you mean.
Have we had one back that went for 100 yards yet this season?
I think Payton Thorne's game in Sanford game.
Well, he says 2 backs. So unless you mean quarterback,
right,
as the other back, he didn't say 2 players.
And I don't even think it's going to be 2 if the quarterback has a good running game, because again, it's going to be spread out so much. Hey, look, we're going to play 2 quarterbacks. How could any one back get all those yards? And we're going to play.
We're going to have backs. 2 quarterbacks rush for 100 yards against Ole Miss.
Excuse me.
Payton Thorne getting 100, Robbie getting 100. But nah, I can't see 2 running backs, man. We're not committed enough to handing the ball off to do that. And I think that Ole Miss is going to do everything they can to force us to throw the football. Now, having said that, this is Pete Golding's coached defense, and Robbie went nuts on Pete Golding's defense with more talent last year in Alabama. He's still not a running back, but I just don't. And that Pete Golding defense did shut down our running back's ability to run the ball for the most part in that game. And they're going to be committed to a very similar game plan. I can't see 2 running backs going for over 100 yards in this game. I could see maybe a quarterback and a running back getting close. Let me say this definitively. If we have 2 rushers of any sort rush for 100 yards each, we're winning this football game.
I agree with that.
We're winning this football
because that means it's working really well. It's not just you can dink. No, I won't say dink and dunk. You can 4, 5, 6 yard your way to a 100-yard game, but that's usually when you got one back that's just eating. If you get a really big run from a guy, then that could be one big play. It could be an end of the game play after a defense is tired. But for 2 guys to go over 100, then that means schematically you have an advantage. Personnel-wise, you have an advantage that you have exploited, and you should be able to control the game with your running game. So, yes, I'm with you. If you have 2 backs go over 100, that's a dub.
I said 2 rushers of any sort, whether it's a quarterback and a running back, 2 running backs, 2 you have 2 people on this team rush for over 100 yards each. That means that we are pretty much getting what we want in the run game, or we're breaking a couple of long runs in this game with 2 separate people, which means those are likely scoring drives for us. It also means that we're likely holding the ball a lot longer. I don't see a scenario in which we rush that well and lose this game, because I think our defense is good enough, if you give them some help, that they can go out there and get a dub.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I'm gonna say that's a sure dub. But again, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen. As stated here in the question, I don't think it's going to happen. But I do
Yeah,
agree with you that that is a path to a win.
yeah. And here's the thing. I think that we could rush for over 200 yards and it not be just two people who make that happen, right? So
Right.
but here's the thing. I'm not saying if we rush for 200, we win the game. I'm saying if we have two rushers that both go over 100 yards, that we win the game.
Right.
Because that means we're going to rush for more than 200 yards.
Yeah.
Because we're not just going to hand it to two people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else who touches it is negative yardage. So anyway, that's not the question, but still. Nah to this question. Ephesians 2:8-9, tweeting at Ephesians_2_ who says, Facts or nah, I'm moving this weekend and won't be able to sit down and watch the game at all. If we win, do I have to stop watching the rest of the season for the good of the team?
I've never been superstitious that way when it comes to the fans' responsibility to the team. If something good happens when they were doing something, you got to keep doing that thing. I don't think you as the fan have anything to do with the success or failure of your team. All we can do is root. We can root. If you're at home watching, send that energy, Dragon Ball Z style spirit bomb energy. Mm-hmm. That's all you can do. You don't have any control over, but that's me. I am not superstitious that way. I'm going to say, nah, you do not have to stop watching your team if they win while you are not watching this game. Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say nah as well. Listen, if we win this game this weekend while you're not watching, that actually bodes well in my mind for our ability to win more games later in the season. And I want you to be able to enjoy that. So no, you don't have to stop watching if we win this weekend just because you were elsewhere while we won. It's all good, baby. Was that the fifth one? That was it, right?
I think so.
All right. That is it. Well, we appreciate all of the people who submitted questions over on Twitter or facts or not statements over on Twitter. If you guys want to get into this, be looking out for the tweet from us on Thursday night so that you can tweet your facts or not questions and you can be the first ones to get in here. And then you can get a shout out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't want to get a shout out on Twitter or whatever, but we'll still shout you out on Twitter. We appreciate everybody who continues to support us in that way as well, engaging with the Twitter. We're going to get over into you all's comments in the chat here and get your facts and not questions answered live. But this segment of the War Report is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped. Every man knows how scary it can get when you're going for that close shave below the waist. That's why I trust Manscaped for all of my sensitive areas. I'm lucky to be one of the first to try the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, and to say it's a game changer is an understatement. You can get 20% off and free shipping. Code Rapport at Manscaped. That's 20% off and free shipping with Code Rapport at Manscaped. Your balls have been through enough. It's time to go ultra with Manscaped.
They've been through enough.
They've been through enough, man.
You've been sitting on them your whole life. Give them a break. Jeez.
All right, y'all. We are going to get over into the live chat. We appreciate you guys being in here. Again, go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you're watching the video live. If you're rewatching it right now, go ahead and do the thumbs up right now. We'll start it off with our friend Todd Jordan, who says, facts or not, still no improvement by the offense, and we stop watching at halftime. Okay. I'm going to answer this question first and foremost. No. Okay. I'm not going to stop watching the game at halftime. And let me say this outside of my War Report duties. I've never fully turned an Auburn game off, no matter how bad it looked. I've walked away from a game and been like, man, I ain't watching this no more, dog. And I can't stop myself from coming back and being like, all right, man, let me just see what happened on this drive.
Can't remember
that. It's never happened. Now, I don't go to games very often just in the stands. If I've ever been to a game at Jordan-Hare Stadium, I've always been working. Like for literally when I was in college, I worked at the stadium. Like I've always gone to games and been working at the stadium. I might leave a game if we getting drubbed. But I will not turn a game off. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't turn the game off. I don't know why. I don't know what like sadistic nature it is within me that just can't turn away when I'm watching, no matter how bad the game is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not in me. But I know a lot of people may feel that way.
I can, so I will watch even if it's going bad disinterestedly, which means it's like, oh, here we go. Let me talk about how disappointed I am with the rest of the Auburn fan base. Oh, look at that, another 3.5 hours. I'm still gonna watch. I'm still gonna watch because how could I bear witness to how bad it got? If even if, like you said, even if we didn't talk about it, I would be wanting to look at okay, the game's out of hand. They let Holden come in. How'd he look? All right, well, you know what? It's looking like it's really bad. We're probably out of this one. Did they fight back though? Like, did we see anything? Did we see a player come in and get some snaps at a different position and look like he knew what he was doing? Like, man, I want to see more of him. I gotta know. I gotta know what's going on. So yeah, I'm not gonna stop watching. So facts or nah, still no improvement. I mean, right now, based on what Hugh Freeze has
I
said and
should have
what we've
answered
seen,
that in two in two separate things. Facts or not, still no improvement by the offense. Stop. God, I hope we're gonna have improvements.
yeah, can only hope.
And so here's the thing: improvement, right? He said no significant changes. And the thing that you have to like, the thing about words is you have to hear the words and understand that those words are intentional. What does he consider a significant change? In my opinion, a significant change would be Robbie's going to be the starter, Holden's going to be the starter, and
Right.
play 80-90% of the snaps with some other quarterback, right? He's definitely telling you that's not going to happen.
Right.
But we're going to use Robbie Ashford more in this game. That to him might not be significant, right? He normally gets about 10 snaps and we're going to give him 15. We're going to give him 20.
Right.
That's not significant. So could I see that? Could we see an improvement from our passing offense? Because Payton Thorne has seemed to play better at home. That wouldn't require any strategic changes. It just requires you to throw the ball to people when they're open and they catch it.
Right. Yeah.
Could we come out there and run the ball better? Sure, we've run the ball fairly well in most games this season. When we've run it, for whatever reason, against LSU, we were like, run, Schmun. Throw it. So that's not significant.
Yeah. So significant change. Now, I also have to take into account maybe he was lying because he knows that Robbie just shredded them last year, that their defense is susceptible to a true dual threat quarterback, and that he didn't need to offer the hint that they were going to go to a full Robbie Ashford. All right. So I would love it if he was being sneaky that way. And we see at the very least some 50-50 type action. Like going, if you just love the commitment to Payton Thorne in the passing game, okay, try it. Have in your head, you're going to get this many drives. If I don't see this, we're going to the other dude. We're going to stay there. That could be the plan. Is that a significant change? Well, most people would say if Robbie Ashford or Holden Gardner is not the starter, then that's not a significant change. If you start Payton Thorne, it's not a significant enough change to talk about. So sure. Yeah. Still no improvement. I am hoping there's an improvement, but going by what he said, still no improvement. Facts or not, still no improvement. That's a little tricky. Facts. This is a negative for me. Facts. There will still be no improvements. But I will not stop watching no matter how bad it gets.
Lisa Daniel jumps in and says, facts or not, Ole Miss is more scared of Robbie Ashford than Payton Thorne. This is an absolute facts.
Everybody we've seen so far would be more scared of Robbie Ashford, but a properly utilized Robbie Ashford.
I mean, I don't care how you utilize Robbie Ashford. They're more afraid of his ability to impact the game with his legs. They just watched him do it last year.
Yes, but see, here's the thing. He's come in with clear, obvious handcuffs on him as far as what to do and what's called for him, whether it was the runs or just the read option. They've just started to in the last game and a half, 2 games, giving him the opportunity to throw the ball, and he's looked good throwing the ball. Could they be, and this is not a fact or not, could they be slowly peeling the wrapper off, getting ready to utilize him in full with the slight increase in pass reps, still too few reps. I think we still think that based on what the game plans will look like. But is it possible that they're giving him little and little more every week to see how he does doing that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's possible that he is coming along. Here's my thing. This is, and you said this in your. I'm going to say facts to this statement. I think that Robbie, not that I want to see him throw more specifically. I just want to see him have utilization. The RPO offense means that there are options for him to throw. Nine
Right.
times out of 10 this season, when he's come in the game, they've taken away that the pass portion. He's running a read option game. He's not running an RPO, meaning he's not given a throwing option on those plays. It is hand the ball off or run it yourself 9 times out of 10 when he's come into the game, specifically in the Power 5 contests thus far. Right. So I just want to see him run the true RPO stuff where, okay, you've got the option to hit this slant. We got the RPO fade that's available to you. You have some actual passes baked into what we're doing that's already a part of the offense that he should know how to run, because that's what they were doing all spring. It's not a different offense. They were running the basic offense in the spring. He should know that portion of it. Let him run. It don't have to be anything super elaborate, some new. Again, I said this last year when I was frustrated with the way the offense was going. I'm not asking you to run stuff that I know that's. I'm asking you to run stuff I know it's in your playbook. I know it's there. Right. I've seen you run it before. I know that it's available to you. I'm just asking you to run it.
I wanted to ask you this because you know more about. I know we're a little off the rails of facts now, but it's still relevant to our team in the game. So, excuse me. We came into the season knowing that Robbie's weakest area of throwing was short intermediate, and specifically over the field is the most dangerous place to throw and be shaky throwing. Do you think that some of what Hugh Freeze, the reason why he's held Robbie back is because in true RPO, the middle of the field is always in play when you're running that has to be utilized effectively, that he wants to see him get better there first? Or he came in thinking, okay, I know Payton Thorne can make this throw more accurately than Robbie can right now, so we'll start him and he'll get the grip of the rest of the stuff as we go through the season. But that hasn't worked out. Do you think that true just skill set and strength at the beginning of the season may have been the reason that he had a clear first choice for Payton Thorne, even despite the failures that we've seen so far?
I mean, I have to assume that, because nothing else makes sense. My only way to make sense of it is that what they saw in practice from his either decision making or his accuracy in the types of throws that he would have to consistently make in this offense was not where it needed to be. Outside of that, it doesn't make sense to me based upon what I can see. So I have to make stuffing outside of what I can see a part of where my logical inferences lead me. Right. And the only thing that's related to his ability to play football would be what you just said. Outside of that, it goes into some stuff that has nothing to do with football. And I don't want to continue to have non-football conversations that I can't substantiate.
Yeah.
Now we can sit here and I can make up a bunch of scenarios where Robbie Ashford actually is an alien. So, according to NCAA rules, if you play an alien more than 50% of the snaps in a game, we got away with it last year, right? Because Harsin was already gonna get fired. But Coach Freeze, he's still on his first year of the contract, and if he breaks the alien clause, you understand what I'm saying? Then, I don't know, come up with a bunch of wild scenarios.
And who's paying the boosters pay for whoever.
Like I said, we can get into a bunch of wild scenarios, bro. Like, I can make up stuff all day that I can't prove.
Right.
So, and does it do me any good to engage in that kind of speculation? Not really.
That doesn't.
So
It doesn't help us.
so I
But yeah,
just stick to, hey man, maybe he's not doing well in practice. I don't know.
yeah. I'm
I
trying to
haven't heard any
find.
evidence of that.
I'm trying to find reasons that actually make sense. Like that's part of being able to stay with the coach. Like I'm with you, coach, because I see what you're trying to do. Like
Mhm.
I'm not even. I don't grasp the attempt here. Like if I can see the attempt, I'll ride with you for a little while. We was riding with Harson longer than most people because like but I see what the attempt. I see what your
Right.
shortcomings are. I see you trying. This season, I see a more calm, a more polished, and a more developed Robbie Ashford who's flashing every time he gets in. And I see another guy that has the same struggles he had the first game he struggled and who looks like he's losing his teammates as well.
Mhm.
I don't know why you keep going through that, but Hugh Freeze has made more offense in Power 5 than I have ever made in my life. So I am going to assume that there are football reasons this is still going on.
There's a master plan somewhere that I can't see. I just have to trust and believe. I feel like I'm at church right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Brother Ike.
uh Next one here from James Barnett. Facts or not, Auburn creates 4 turnovers in this game. 4 turnovers is a lot.
There is a lot. They are a little loosey goosey. Ole Miss, they can turn the ball over some. Jackson Dart isn't the most dependable. All right. 4 is a lot, though. I think 4 is a lot.
4
I think
is
4 is a
quite
lot.
a bit.
Now, our home field advantage is quite something. I think we got what 2 against Georgia is what we had. I know we had Simp had the pick, and I think we got 1 fumble. If I'm not
Yep, coming out
mistaken.
of the second half, we got the fumble off the tight end. So yeah, an interception and a fumble.
Okay. I think we get at least 2. I think we can get 2, but I don't think we get more than that. So I'm going 9-4.
Yeah, I think 4 is a lot. I mean, do we have 4 in a single game this season against anybody? So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
nah. If we do, I don't remember it. So I'm gonna go nah on this one, and say yeah. I think 2 is probably a closer number.
Yeah.
If you were giving me the over under at 2.5, I'd take the under. Another one here from James Barnett who says, fellas, was Robbie? Oh, that's not a fact. So now we'll come back to that one. Jacob Vaughn says, facts or not, Robbie throws for over 55% completion in this game.
I'd say that depends on how many attempts he gets. You come in and throw 2 or 4. Yeah, you can go 2 for 4. You can go 1 for 4. Bad misunderstanding between wide receiver and quarter. Like I always expect some of that. I always expect some. No, me. Okay. All right.
Listen, the best offenses in the country have that happen where,
Right.
hey man, you were supposed to run this route, and like it happens all the time. That you're The problem for Auburn is, and this is what Coach Freeze talks about when he talks about our margin of error is too slim for us to
Right.
miss those opportunities. So things that you do wrong get highlighted so much more because you haven't given yourself enough margin to miss there. Right.
Right.
For this thing, to your point with Robbie, if he's only going to throw the ball 4 times and he only hits 1 of 4 of those, and he has, a 25% completion percentage, people are going to look at that completion percentage and be like, see, I told you Robbie's not even good. But then you don't take into account maybe one of those was a throwaway. Maybe one of those was a good play by the DB that broke it up. And then the other one was a missed throw on him. And then he made 1 good throw. Right. So his the number of times he's asked to throw the ball is going to factor into this.
Now, he give me 10, then I think that's a better subset of okay.
Yeah.
Here's how much throwing you should do for us to really be able to evaluate if you had a decent passing game or not. Yeah. So 10, then I'm gonna say, yeah, you get 6 out of 10 because that means they're calling this game for him to succeed, which means snap the ball and I'm throwing a little quick pass to Batty and he's running wide to get into the sideline. Those easy throws are built into. We talked about this earlier this week when we were talking about Bo Nix's success and his completion percentage. They're calling games that line him up to succeed.
Right.
Are they going to call this to help Robbie succeed? Because so far we haven't seen them really call it to have either quarterback succeed at
how they utilize Robbie as a passer in the LSU game is what he should be doing the vast majority of the game when he comes in. Right. Like they're doing, the RPO stuff where he gets the bootleg out, and then they're going to have a layered concept for him to be able to throw it to. You know, he had the one deep shot that he had to Frazier, right? Like he can do those sorts of things, I think, routinely because it comes off of a play action, right? And so safety bites down. You got a tight end coming up on the post route wide open because there's no middle field safety anymore. If he hits 2 or 3 of those types of throws in any given game, it's going to be great. His off schedule stuff, he can do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, to your point, if he gets 10 throws, do I think he can hit 6? Yes. The question is he going to get 10 throws?
Right.
I don't know the answer to that one.
Right. While the game is still in hand.
Over under 6 throws for Robbie Ashford in this game, B. Will. What are you feeling?
Man. I'm going to say over. I do think he uses Robbie more. If we had to bet, I'd say he's going to get the most snaps he's gotten this season in a game for this game, because at least for once now we have a before and after of how did we look last year versus this year. If a Harsin coach team goes on the road and puts up more offense and more yards than a Hugh Freeze coach team at home in Jordan-Hare, I think that would look abysmal, especially if you didn't play the guy who did all the producing last year. I hope Hugh Freeze sidesteps that landmine by having Payton Thorne play excellent or putting Robbie Ashford in the
listen,
game.
Man, I hope Payton has a bounce back game this game. Like I want to see. Like, I don't care if he only plays 5 snaps. I want those 5 snaps to be quality snaps, right?
Yeah.
But I hope he has a bounce back game. He's going to start this game more than likely. So when he's out there playing, I hope he plays well. I don't have a vested interest in a quarterback not playing well for Auburn. That doesn't make me feel good to sit here and watch. If he's going to be in the game, please play well, man.
Right.
There's nothing about me that wants to see him fail.
No.
Not if he's going to be on field. Why?
We don't want to be setting a decade lows in offense and ball. If you out there wearing Auburn's jersey, ball. Please. We want you to ball out.
All right. Last facts or not question here, and then we'll get to the James Barnett comment here. Jacob Vaughn says, facts or not, Jaylen Simpson gets another interception against Ole Miss.
Is Simp 100% or close to it? He only got on the field at LSU in spots, and I can't imagine
he almost got a pick then against one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He ricocheted off of his arm.
He said, I got 2 snaps to give you. What do you want now? Okay, I got you. Bloop, here you go. I helped you get an INT. There you go. That man is a baller. I think if he's good enough to go, I mean, he's got to play snaps, right?
He's going to play. Let's just be clear. Jaylen Simpson will play in this game. If he played and he wasn't 100% against LSU, he didn't do anything to re-aggravate or injure that. He's going to play against Ole Miss at home.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm gonna say facts.
This is the bug in me and my confidence in Simp going out there just being a playmaker. I'm gonna say facts on this as well. Simp is gonna get him another one. That boy has been an absolute hawkback. But I said at the beginning of the season, this move to safety, it allows Jaylen Simpson to literally do everything he's really good at, which is play in space because he's got a ton of speed.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good open field tackler. And he just analyzes things really well. He takes chances every now and then, but he usually takes some very calculated risks. And it's paid off for him. Simp is out here. He's making it known that
he gets to keep eyes forward more often.
Yeah.
So he can.
And he wasn't bad as a cover corner. That's not even saying. No. I just think that when he is back there and he can just utilize it, because as a cover corner, you don't get to utilize your speed in the same way. Like if you have to use your speed as a cover corner, you're trying to chase somebody.
Right.
And that's usually not good. You want a guy who's got good straight line speed like Simp to be able to see something and go get after it.
Yeah.
And that's what he does really well. That was a great move. I don't know if I think I want to credit Zach Etheridge with the decision to make that move because it happened towards the end of last year and he's coaching safeties this year.
That's true.
That is a great strategic decision by Zach Etheridge to see what Simp could offer you as a safety and say, hey, we're going to move you here. We got some other guys who can play corner anyway, and we need your playmaking ability out here on the field. Great move. It's paid dividends for Auburn, and it's paid great dividend. Simp made himself a lot more money this season.
He has. He really has.
Yeah.
He a baller.
All right. Last statement here. Again, this isn't a fact or not, but James Barnett says, fellas, was Robbie ever beat out, though? Coach Hugh Freeze said that he made Payton Thorne QB1 to keep him from pressing. Did I miss something?
You know what? I mean, we've gotten to talk about this a little bit, and we've had plenty of time to think about it. We thought that this was curious when he said it in the presser when he announced that Payton Thorne would be named starter.
Right.
I understand why you go with what you think and not what you've seen right in front of your face, at least to start. He believed that if he made the investment time-wise and the commitment to Payton Thorne, that it would all pay off, that Payton Thorne would get it, that the wide receivers would come around, some rapport would start to build between quarterbacks and wide receivers, and that the offense would start to him. I think he chose incorrectly, not only in choosing in picking Payton Thorne as a starter, but probably in that Payton Thorne was the quarterback he brought in here. I don't think he knew that in August when he made that statement, though. I don't think it's a crime as a coach to go, all right, based on what I've seen from 2 years of your tape, based on what I know about my offense and what I expect, you would be a really good fit for what I want to do and where I think we will end up going. I don't think by any account, nobody's account, Mike has said this, nobody's account said in the first 2 scrimmages that Payton Thorne was just dealing and Robbie and Holden couldn't catch up. That was not what was being said. Nobody saw that. Hugh Freeze said, I am making this judgment based on what I know and what I see, and this is an investment. He basically, this is an investment to get him to stop pressing so he can, and this is what he didn't say, so he can play like I think he can play as we move forward. I don't think it was a terrible mistake as a coach to choose and invest, but he chose wrong. I think it's fair to say, even if there was no Robbie Ashford number 2, if there was not a change of pace, different skill set quarterback behind Payton Thorne, you still shouldn't have played Payton Thorne if 6 weeks in we're 107 passing against the worst offense, the worst defense in the conference. This wasn't the right guy. Not for what we have here right now. And he's eating it. I don't know why you don't pivot sooner. That's my gripe with what Hugh Freeze has done so far. You didn't pivot soon enough. You didn't have the second guy prepped well enough because you just assumed, oh yeah, once I give my guy one enough time, it'll get it and it'll be fine. It's not fine. And now Robbie has missed on however many weeks of cupcake games we had that would have been great practice for him, however many weeks of QB1 prep, snaps, reps in practice, game plans for him that would have had has been lost. And now we have to throw him into the fire. Meaningful competition. And now if Robbie Ashford were to get meaningful snaps this weekend, it would be against a team who is actually not tied for the league because Bama's only got, they don't have any conference law. They're second in the West. And now they still have everything to play for. You put him in against the toughest competition instead of when he should have been growing more and developing more in the offense. The wrong decision early has cost the team and cost every other quarterback on this team who could have helped us right now. I don't think it was wrong to name him Payton Thorne the starter, though. But it's a gamble. You lose a gamble. I'm a gambler. I understand losing the gamble. You pick up, you write your mistakes, and you move forward. You don't double down on mistakes. That's the error that I think Hugh Freeze has been making lately.
Yeah, I mean, to the question pointedly, did Payton Thorne beat out Robbie Ashford ever? That's a very layered question, right? Because the answer to that question is yes, he did, right? What metrics were being used and what analysis were being used? Did he play better than Robbie Ashford during his time in fall camp? I wasn't there to watch it. I don't know the answer to that. People who I've asked who were there say no, he didn't outplay him. Right? If anything, again, it was told to us the guy who looked the best during fall camp is a guy who's seen almost no snaps, which is Holden Geriner. But does Payton Thorne have more in-game experience than Robbie Ashford in the Power 5? Yes. So he came in with that. Did Payton Thorne come in as a better, as far as completion percentage, a better passer than Robbie Ashford? Yes. Has Payton Thorne been a starter for more games and had more on-field leadership? And does he come into the locker room and rah-rah. I don't even think he's a rah-rah guy, so I don't even know what that's about. But he instills confidence in people that he's going to be able to handle stuff in the way that he does stuff on board and all that kind of. I get it. So did he win the starting job? Yes. To your additional point, though, B, just because he won initially, does that mean that you have to double down on that and continue to play him, especially if you're not going to be throwing the ball more, and that's the thing that he apparently does better? I don't understand that. That's where I stop understanding it. If we're throwing the ball a bunch and it's just been, miscommunication with receivers and that sort of thing, but hey, Payton Thorne is seeing it right. We just got to get the receivers on the right page, or we got to get the blocking corrected. Then I get it. I really do. But I'm not getting this. And this is where we tip over into, all right, what are we doing now? Because we're not employing a game plan that is best suited for the better thrower. And we're not playing the guy who is best suited for that game plan. So we're going to play a game plan that's best suited for another guy and continue to do that because we feel like Payton Thorne gives us a better chance to throw the ball, but we're not going to throw it. I don't get that. Play holding, man. Play holding. Yeah. If the issue is everybody except the quarterback, but that QB, when he's getting those opportunities every now and then, is not being accurate or on time with the football, play the dude who gonna sit back there and let it rip. I know for a fact, this is not an assumption. I know for a fact, Holden don't want to sit there and hold on to the football. Yeah. He gonna get to the back of his drop, and he wants to throw the daggone football.
Sling it. Yep.
Let him play it in.
Being tentative back there as the starting quarterback, which is, I think some of this, and this is something I've thought about, how depressing is it that we're not losing these games because we're turning the ball over? Like Ole Miss last year, we turned the ball over a couple times and got down in a hole quickly. And that was clearly the reason. Like 14 points off turnovers was the reason we were down in that game early.
Mm-hmm.
We have an experienced quarterback taking care of the football. It has amounted to nothing in the wins and loss column. We are losing the games where we are winning the turnover margin, because being careful and not throwing to guys who are about to come open, because you don't want to take that chance that, what if they don't come out the break and I don't want to turn it over. Okay, you don't want to turn it over. We lost by 30 LSU. How'd that work out? You took care of the football. You were too scared to throw it into the window where the wide receiver was supposed to be breaking open. You didn't throw.
Let's be clear. One of them should have been a turnover. The one that he tried to throw to Coy Moore in the double cover should have been a pick. Dude just dropped it.
Yeah, he did. When you're scared to take those chances, you don't hurt your team with turnovers, but you hurt your team because we're punting. Again, we're putting our defense right back out there. Sling the ball. Throw it to the windows based on the timing that you had in practice, because you've had more practice throwing to these wide receivers than anybody else on the team. Hands down, you've had those reps. Fall camp, you could say, he hadn't been in the system. Okay, well, week 7, he's been named the starter since the second week of fall camp. You've had more practice reps between fall camp and every week going forward, and more game reps. How are you still not any better passing the ball in this offense than you were then? Maybe you had that excuse week 1, week 2, week 3. By then, these reps are even, or you've got more. You've got more game experience here in this offense with these players. No reason for it to look as bad as it has this long.
Yeah, it's inexplicable, man. And I'm just hoping against hope that this weekend we see a change, and somehow, some way, he comes up with some funky like every single day. All right, we're gonna get out of here, man. Rogue Shop sponsors the War Report's morning drop. Y'all head over to rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your purchase. Let them know the War Report sent you. We appreciate you guys dropping in with us. Before you get out of here, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with somebody else. We'll be back at you guys 30 minutes prior to kickoff tomorrow with our pregame experience. And hopefully we have a good day tomorrow, man. But we're out of here until the next time. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.